But did you hear what Jonathan Karl said? He said Trump told him January 6th was a glorious day, one of the darkest days in this nation's history. But for Trump, it was glorious. Never mind that it was a stain on this nation that'll take forever to erase. The crowd was big, and that damn media didn't report on how big it was. On the anniversary of January 6th, Trump sat for an interview with OANN and crowed again about the crowd size. And listen to this more than useless OANN host who's interviewing. When Trump starts drooling about how big the crowd was, she says, "It was massive." Yeah, like that's the most important thing. Here it is in all its unglory.
Everything was going beautifully. And then the election got rigged and stolen from the American people. And by the way, that's the reason they went in massive numbers. They don't cover the numbers of people. They always show the Capitol with a very small, just a tiny percentage of the people that were there. They never show helicopter pictures of that incredible crowd because it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken before. I've never had a crowd, I've never seen a crowd that big.
It was massive.
It was the real number. I won't say because it'll be a headline. Oh, he exaggerated the number. The real number was over that sacred number. Okay,
yeah.
You know what that number was, right?
I do.
And I don't even talk about that.
You talk about it all the time. You can't stop yourself from talking about things that placate your ego. And first and foremost is your crowd size. Again, one of the darkest days in this nation's history, and you're talking about your crowd size. And again, the useless OANN memo, "It was massive, sir." Yeah, like that is the most important thing. I mean, he's sitting there telling this floozy that he never talks about his crowd size as he's talking about his crowd size. And after he tells her he doesn't talk about his crowd size, what does he do? He continues to talk about his crowd size. Again, January 6th was not a glorious day. It was not unbelievable. It was one of, if not the worst days in this nation's history. People died. Our democracy was gravely wounded that day, perhaps mortally. And yet, to this day, all he can take away from that day is the crowd size. How do you people in Trump's brain-dead MAGA cult base, whom I will admit aren't the sharpest and brightest to begin with, but still, you have to have a few still functioning brain cells. How can you support a guy that shows you all he cares about is his ego? Oh, the crowd was big. Dr. Mark Meadows, great guy, great chief. The crowd, well, the media won't report it. I mean, that's all he cares about. Everything else he tells you, oh, America first, blah, blah, blah. It's all because he knows that's what you want to hear. He doesn't mean a syllable of it. He doesn't care about this country. He's been screwing it and stealing from it for decades, his entire business life. He cares even less about you. He's done everything he can to elevate himself above the unwashed masses of which you comprise. He was just always too trailer trash to be accepted into the real elite. So now he even lowers himself to go to the unwashed masses in order to placate his ego. And you really don't see it? You think he goes to all these rallies for you? Are you really that stupid? Do you have the balls to admit you're that stupid?